I recently watched the Elvis movie that was released last year. It was fine. Do I have any desire to watch it again? Not really. However, watching the Elvis movie made me come to the conclusion that biopics are sometimes not very good at carrying out their purpose. They often struggle with reality. In my opinion, they often lack objectivity. For example, during the Elvis movie, it showed Elvis meeting his future wife while he was serving in the military from 1958 to 1960. We see them kiss each other. This would be perfectly fine if I was not aware of the age difference between the two. When Elvis left the military, he was 25 years old. Priscilla was 14. Yeah, people making the movie probably should have thought that one through. It's even stranger that they specify that the scene took place in 1959. The movie really doesn't look at it with an objective lens and instead normalises the relationship. As a matter of fact, this problem is quite recurring when it comes to most biopics. Biopics by celebrities are usually not objective and often don't paint the full picture. This is also seen in Bohemian Rhapsody. I remember loving this movie back in the day. I adored the music and I liked Rami Malek's portrayal as Freddie Mercury. Now that I look back on this, my positive feelings towards the film was undoubtedly caused by my love for Queen's music. When you actually think about the movie, you can see that Freddie's bandmates had a big role in the making of the movie. Freddie was portrayed as a musician who had a drug problem and was constantly partying and getting up to no good, which is apparently in sharp contrast to his fellow bandmates. I don't know about you guys, but I think there was a slight exaggeration there. The other members of Queen were obviously partying and taking drugs too. I think having people who are portrayed in a movie be involved in the making of the movie is a bad idea. Rocket Man was also very much guilty of this, with Elton John serving as executive producer of his own biopic. The thing I love about Rocket Man though is how he was so honest and open about his past and his own depression and problems and addictions that he faced throughout his life. Rocket Man is definitely the best biopic of a musician that I've seen so far. I've come to see these musician biopics in the same light as live action remakes. One of them was successful and now they keep doing the same thing over and over again. Painting a picture of somebody else's life can be difficult, and many filmmakers fail to paint the full picture of a person's life. I think a film that did a wonderful job of painting a picture of a famous person's life was The Social Network. I still find it insane how this movie was able to be made, considering Facebook had only launched a few years prior, and Mark Zuckerberg was and is very much alive and well. He didn't take any sides, instead illustrating how Zuckerberg was not a clean figure, but was in fact self-serving and sneaky. At the same time, it shows how the Winklevoss twins are entitled and elitist, and how in the end their own inaction led to somebody else reaping the rewards. It's a phenomenal film and truly pulls no punches. This is an example of a biopic that actually works. Other biopics that work very well for me are Malcolm X and Lawrence of Arabia. Malcolm X is simply telling us his story. It isn't trying to hide anything or make him into a different person. I love Lawrence of Arabia a lot because it transforms the story of Lawrence from what one would presume was a simple biographical story to a masterful showcase of adventure, betrayal, and disappointment seen in his life. He was not only a hero, but he was a villain and a victim too. I think the primary difference between a good biopic and a bad biopic is that a good biopic is objective. It is simply showing us the life of this person. They aren't trying to side with the person or hate them, they're just showing things how they are. Unfortunately, nowadays, there is an abundance of bad biopics that have an agenda. I think filmmakers would be better off looking back at the 60s or even to 2000s to see how a true biopic is made.